Hi guys, welcome to Women Sexy. I'm Marpos, your host. Our guest tonight is none other than LaToya Lane, Miss Pillow Talk Caribbean herself, and we are going to be talking relationships, intimacy, and whatever else comes naturally. LaToya is an accomplished relationship coach as well as sex therapist. So while we're waiting on LaToya to come in, I'll tell you what's happening with Grown and Sexy for the next couple of weeks. Grown and Sexy has grown, yes, and our format is changing slightly. So we're going to be having sometimes more chat than poetry. Okay, so leading on to Christmas time, we're going to be having persons coming in. We're going to be talking about self-love topics regarding your vision for where you see yourself. We're going to be having topics also on self-love. We're going to be going to the spa. We're going to be having a fabulous makeup artist, Alpheus, coming in. We're going to have Bisa Fit. We're going to have my nail tech coming in. And she's going to be doing quite an awesome session with you. So it's going to be lots of things going on. We're going to have bakers. We're going to have some of everybody. So our guest is here now. So I'm going to log her in. We're going to welcome LaToya. Hi, have a good night to you, Tevin. Welcome. And while our guest is in, just put yourself in the queue after the interview. Then we will have a poem or two if there's time. Because whenever LaToya is with us, it is always super awesome. The only time that Grown and Sexy went into overtime was when Latoya came in, and that night was rocking hot. Latoya,
Admittedly,
well,
your people. I love the poetry, so I went into overdrive as well because I was just
awesome.
captivated. It was like, whoa, this is some good stuff. Well, I'm very happy to have that that you invited me. Of
Oh,
course, I'm just trying to get, you know how it is when you're trying to DIY your setup.
I
um,
know.
the light looked great before, and now I'm like, oh my God, where's the light gone? Anyhow, you can see me, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Yes,
good. So
I.
that's all that matters, and hopefully you see my props. Um,
How have you been?
ah, it's been
Apart from
interesting.
busy, apart from busy, that much I'm seeing.
Busy, yes. I have been trying to take care of me, trying to take
Mm-hmm.
care of, it's been interesting to be honest. To be an entrepreneur during this time is stressful, and to be a
I love.
parent during this time is very stressful. I feel like every time my children bring home homework, I have homework. And when I don't send it back, I feel like I've been judged by the teachers. Like, why she didn't get
Ooh,
this homework due during the weekend? And it's be like, it was a busy weekend, okay? It was a busy week. You
understood. Understood.
so I've been managing all the things, and I've been just trying. Yeah, so it's been good though. It's been good in terms of getting things ready. So forgive the jiggling. I'm trying to. I had it
That's
set up
okay.
before.
All right, so we're gonna go with the questions first, and
Okay,
you
good.
know how we, you know how we do it. You know how we do it.
I'm good. I'm
We
good. Good. You
we're
do it.
gonna we're,
I'm here.
we're gonna have the questions, and you're throwing everything in between there.
Good.
All
Good. I
right,
like that. I
so
like that. I like to be
Latoya.
thrown. Yes.
Hmm. Right. So okay, tell the people what are you really into?
And what I'm really into. We talking about sexually, right? Or are we talking about celestial? Where are we taking this? I just want
We're
to make sure.
taking we're taking this to you. Who is Latoya Lane?
Okay, so why am I really into? Okay, good. I'm really into pleasure. I am really into making sure that people are comfortable. I find myself repeating that often because I'm someone that wants people to feel at ease. I want
Mhm.
you to feel comforted. I want you to know that you're heard and you're understood. And I think that that's has to be one of my lifelong like goals as a
Okay.
person. Because
Mhm.
I feel like when somebody sits with me or is in my presence, they should feel welcome.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter what job role I'm in. I think that that's my biggest testimony. When you meet me, you should feel like, okay, I didn't feel awkward. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt at ease. LaToya made me feel heard. And I feel like if I had to come back and tell her something completely random, she would not freak out and spaz out. Like,
Okay.
so that has to be my overall. If there was a theme for my life, it has to be, I really want people to feel comfortable around me. I want to feel like I welcome you, like I make a safe space in this world for you to exist
Mhm.
and be you. And I have at times said thank you, no thank you. So I also know how to make boundaries. I'm not an empath. I know that. I'm very easy to say, okay, thank you, but no thank you. So what
Sometimes,
I know
sometimes
my
that's
own
the
boundaries.
biggest problem people have, the inability to say no and no thank you. Like
Yeah,
if you feel that
I like
you
teach it to
have to
my
say
children
it.
often. Like
Mhm.
especially if you like simple things like playground rules, like when they go to playground and other children come to join in and they're becoming too like rude or rowdy
Yeah.
or they want to exclude one who's older or one is younger. And I teach them and say, okay, well tell them thank you but no thank you.
Yeah. That's
And it's
good.
something it's just something that allows them to be able to tell the person, why thank you for coming here, but no thank
But
you. But no
I
thank you.
like I
Right?
like
So it works for me, but that's if that was my thing and what I'm into, it has to be creating safe spaces, creating a space where people are here to enjoy themselves and feel welcomed and that kind of thing. And in my work, I really talk about pleasure and making sure that those tenets bleed all the way through everything that I am doing.
okay. That's a fact because I remember when we first met, I don't remember how long ago it was. It was
You will.
I think it was at the Good Life. And it was the very first time I saw you ever. We spoke online regarding the show you were doing, but it was like when I met you, it was like I didn't feel uncomfortable to get in front of that microphone and talk my stuff because it's like, okay, LaToya is cool. I can do this. So then when you started, I remember when you started doing the little giveaways and stuff. I was dying with laughter because it's like normally when you see something like this, the person is so or if
Uncomfortable.
not or if not they're so out there like if they had a whole pot of coffee. But you were just cool. Cool. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that vibe. So
I'm happy
what
that you
what
remember
got you into relationships and sex therapy?
that. Ooh, curiosity. I always thought it was
Mm-hmm.
interesting as a child how uncomfortable. Probably this is where it comes my thing with comfort. How damn uncomfortable adults would be about talking about. I had a thing about writing books.
Mm-hmm.
Young, you want to write a book. So I would always be writing a book about teen pregnancy. And my aunt, one of my aunts said, "You can't even spell pregnancy." It was like, really? I'm spelling it wrong? She said, okay. And you get some things wrong, but nobody wanted to correct me on the technicalities. Nobody wanted to read my stories. So they start reading, start watching that, or start writing those stories, right? And I was like, why are they so weirded out about it? And the more that I went down this lane, the more I began to recognize that it's a real big sticking point.
Yeah.
So I'm in school now, and I was in school at the time, like secondary school, and I've always been a big reader. I'm a book nerd. I can't deny it. Head first, right? Um, and the only passages in books I could get boys to read was in especially Love Sweat. Everybody remembers the Love Sweat books,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Those the only ones you could get them to read was the passion, was the parts about sex and he thrusts and then the velvety wetness and this is the only parts you could get them to read. And again, it was fascinating. So by the time I left school, secondary school, I went into BCC. I went into and I got involved at the time in a youth organization at Family Planning.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into UE. I went and started my bachelor's. And all the time I'm doing work with family planning. All the time I'm heavily involved in youth work and family planning and relationships and all this discussion about sex. So by the time you saw me, Mariposa, I was well honed in how to speak to big audiences about sex in a calm way. I was accustomed to the giggling and the
Yeah.
underneath breath and the everybody pretending, oh, I'm a virgin and I don't have sex and shh, I can tell you something that will knock your boots
Yeah.
off and I'm like,
And
okay,
don't tell anybody.
right? So and then to be honest, by the time I got to almost the ending of my university career, I had like a light bulb moment where I recognized that I didn't want to do anything that they were talking about as a job.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the work I was doing with family planning. And I literally went to the computer lab and sat down. And I think I had a conversation with the career guidance counselor there. And she was like, well, what do you love doing? And I love talking to people about sex. She said, well, you should look to see if you can make a career out of that. And I was like, you might be right. And I went and I Googled it. And I changed my majors. And my grandmother was going through cancer treatments at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her about it because everybody in my family was of the opinion my grandmother is so soft and stuff. But I knew her after going through months with her going through her cancer treatments. I knew her personally. I knew her as a
Okay.
person.
We got closer.
Yeah, I knew her as a person. Like I knew, you know how when you're growing up, you only know someone in the role that they've given you. But when you
Yeah.
get to see somebody going through something life changing, you get to know them as a person. Like I
Yeah.
got to know her as a person. And I said to her, because of course whether or not I recognize it, she wasn't coming back, right? From the cancer. So we had to have hard conversations. So she one evening, she was like, what is you want to do? I said, I want to be a sex therapist. She said, oh, what? And I explained. And she said, well, listen, if that is what you want to do, then you put your mind to it and don't let nobody and no man change your mind. And I
Exactly.
found me a man that was, I said, people always say, how your husband has let you do this. Oh my girl,
Let.
we don't play them games, but here. This was the
Let.
setup from before. You understand? So my husband is be 100%. I got the support. He knew I was going down the road. Listen, it has been 100 for me, and that has been my trajectory from there. I've
That's
just
awesome.
shot off from there. I'm all my education. I mean, I drag us our honeymoon, because you're young, you get married young. We honeymoon 2 years into our marriage in Canada for me to do a sex therapy master level course. So we did
Okay.
1 week honeymooning, and the other week LaToya was in a master's level course. It was
Okay.
beautiful.
Nothing on that.
You,
The
no, it
support.
was a
The
beautiful
support is
honeymoon. That's the kind of
necessary.
honeymoon that we love.
That's
You go,
good.
you learn about sex, and then you come home.
Like, hello. That's
Hello,
what.
but it was
Tell
fantastic. So
me
that's how I
something.
got here, and that's my background. Like it's been years in the making, and that's where I really have enjoyed. And I'm only learning and evolving more, especially as I add on other roles in my life as mother and entrepreneur and business owner. It's evolving, and when you add sex to the mix, whew, child, it makes things even more interesting. I always get to see people blush, and it always tickles me to see somebody behave as if
I'm just going to ask you, what is your most what satisfies you the most in your work? But somehow I am suspecting that to see other people blushing is part of it.
that is part. That is part. Um, I like when my clients say to me, you never made me feel uncomfortable with the things I've said to you. I love that. That makes me feel like, oh, I've done my job.
You
You
did it.
know,
You did it.
so they say, I feel comfortable telling you these things. And then I pivot and I let them know further. So for example, I give all of them homework, hands down. They have homework. Yes, I know as a teacher, it's like homework, but it's good because I push the envelope on what they've known already, what they know already, and I keep them on their toes. It's not necessarily standing on the tip of your toes or set positions unless that's where the coaching is going. But I really set a path for them, and I like to see when they have the aha moments and things
Mm-hmm.
start to click and they're like, or they message me and say, "Oh, this thing happened and it was so good." I love those moments. I really do. I really like. I don't care what time of the day it is. I'm like, I love it when you message me and tell me something good. Or sometimes, my clients leave and they're like, I had this thing for a while, where I would get clients
Mm-hmm.
and they would be in therapy. In my sex therapy master's level course, it said therapy through assessment. You're trying
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of as many clients. You're trying to work yourself out of a job constantly.
Okay.
So I would literally solve problems in my assessments. So they wouldn't come
Okay.
back for second session. So then when they see me, they're like, "Oh, did I tell you that thing worked? And everything was perfect, and I'm doing so much well. You're giving me the right tools, and I'm doing so well." So I'm happy with that. That's the things that gives me joy to know that I've given people tools and practices and strategies. I mean, everyone always thinks, "Oh, Latoya is tell you how to where you put your foot and how to put on some lube," but it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that.
Oh goodness. I love that. But tell me something, LaToya. During COVID, what has changed for you as a therapist counselor? Did you find that people were coming to you more, or let me start over. Do you find people were coming to you more for assistance where the relationships were concerned?
Um, I think the quality of the questions got better
Mm-hmm.
because before it was mainly based on what's that soil is for me. And
Mm-hmm.
then more and more it's become how do I improve my relationship
Okay.
and how do I get better sex for me and my partner and how do I make my sex like quality. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
has to do a little bit more with how I've been pitching myself as a sex coach because before I was focused a lot on the products and I recognize that
Yes.
I like to sell the products because it helps people to get relaxed and they will come. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you also have to let them know that it doesn't solve all problems. So I started to focus a little bit more on telling them, well, this is a tool, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not a solution. Like, it will
Yeah, it's
help
not
you
the end
with certain
all.
areas, but
It's
it's not a
not the end.
solution, right?
Right.
So putting a cock ring on the penis will make it interesting, but if you cut so in 3 minutes and you need 20, so it's still gonna be an issue in between there. So the
Okay.
quality of questions have gotten better and the type of conversations, but how it's impacted is I usually do face-to-face sessions
Mm-hmm.
and I have transitioned to mainly online. And for me, that was hard because I was accustomed to interacting with clients and seeing them and it being okay and stuff like that. But it's actually given me a lot more flexibility because now people can book me at different times. So now
That's good.
I'm available late at night. So I do a lot of late night sessions.
Okay.
So sometimes I start sessions at 9 and go on from there.
Okay.
So yeah, so that allows people more flexibility. And then there's, of course, before I was dealing, I always was an online cashless kind of person, but now it's definitely in that age.
Yeah.
So really, that's really how it's like matured. I would say during COVID.
Yeah.
There are things that you had considered during before COVID. Like I was like, oh yeah, I should do online sessions, but now I'm like, yeah, I do online sessions. I say online payments,
It is not now.
and it's like
It is not
you
now.
matured because
Yeah.
everybody was getting there quicker. So it wasn't like a head wrap for your clients. No, they're like, oh yeah, I'm in it. I understand. I've been watching lives and feel like I'm in the room with the person, so I could as well
Yes,
do
you
that for
can.
therapy.
Yes, you can. Because I realized in looking at your page, yes, it has changed. It is, for me, it has gotten better. And
For me
also,
too.
yes, you're not pushing the toys only. And I realize that sometimes on mornings when I get up, because I am still an IG junkie. I must have my fix on mornings to see what my people are up to and stuff. And it's like when I get up, sometimes one of the first posts I would get is yours. And I find it is not just sex based. To me, I am seeing a lot of intimacy. And
Yes.
what I'm realizing COVID is that because I've been posting a lot of stuff too, and I even ended up in an argument with this guy. He was talking about men don't need intimacy. So I pulled in a few male friends to terrorize his tail too, because it's like that you're a one in a million because men like intimacy as well. It's not just for women. And he couldn't get it. But I am realizing that your page has changed and it's getting better. We won't tell people what mischief the two of us are up to together.
Yes. Yes. Not yet. Not yet.
We'll leave that to be seen. Lord,
It's gonna be
I'm
great.
gonna enjoy this, But I am loving your page. I am following other people too, but I find your page has heart.
I think that's
It
what you
has
should have. You should
it
tell
has
people
heart.
about the message about what you wanna, what you want to portray. And intimacy is one of the head things that I definitely recognize it was missing out of the conversation. And you're right.
Yeah,
I think people mix up cuddling with intimacy because
yeah.
people say, "Oh, I don't need to be cuddled." Do you think that you need
And
sex and
touch.
touch? That's what you see.
So
COVID
touch.
has shown persons how important touch is. It's one of those
Mhm.
senses that you absolutely need to have. You have to have it fulfilled to be
Yeah.
touched, to feel other
Because
people, to
it's
be in the
like it's
environment to
funny.
others.
Yeah, and I find sometimes people think that intimacy is sex.
It could be. It could be. For some people, it is a. For some persons, sex is part of their intimacy pattern. It's how they express themselves as an intimate person. For some people, it's not required. Whether or not they
Right.
have it's not part of their pattern. They could be kissed and cuddled and listened to. You could talk off their ear and they will love it. That's how their love language is. That's what they enjoy. But I think we as a society as well has often portrayed male as needing that kind of
Yeah.
physical interaction in order for them to feel fulfilled. And sometimes, even if they don't need it, they think that they need it because that's what it has been taught to them.
Because it's expected and it's manly. It's expected in some cases.
Yeah,
And
it's
I think
expected in many
that's the
cases,
problem.
actually.
That's the
And they
problem.
often,
They don't realize there's more to it than that. Some of
yeah,
them, some of them. Let me change that quickly. Some of them, not all. Some of
it's
them.
true. We're getting more and more persons, especially with the age of social media, thank goodness. There are still some good pockets on social media and it allows them to see things like and explore things like toxic masculinity and that kind of thing. I really understand what it is when someone says that, like, oh, you're being touches, and then they will read a post and it says toxic masculinity is dot dot
Yeah,
dot, like
yeah,
the ABCs of it, and then I go, oh, well, now I understand. So, and
yeah, because
it's small things that start to turn and shift that I didn't understand. Okay,
yeah,
well,
just a little in the mind.
it's a little
But
bit.
here, recently I was seeing a lot about feminine energy and male energy. So that's what I'm reading up on, and that is so interesting. Little things you don't realize sometimes what a man needs, what a woman needs, and sometimes what you need to drop to be seen differently and to be treated even better. And
It's
the
true,
level
and
of
to be seen
respect,
and
because
heard.
some people don't see the respect as a requirement.
And how you verbalize your respect. Like, so for example, you're in a relationship and you haven't identified to your partner, this is the way in which I like to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't love me. And I said, but I just pay the bills and I do this and I do that. And you go down the list. These are the things, this is how I'm showing you love. And your partner is responding, but you don't love me. It's because you're not speaking the same language. You're not
Exactly.
speaking the same language. You're not, to them, they're not being seen and they're not being heard. A man might say, oh, you don't, you, every time we come to bed, you always tell me you got a headache, you tired. And the woman's like, but I tell you that, why you help me with the children? I won't be tired, no. Love
Yeah.
language gone cross. Because essentially what she's saying to you and what he's saying to you is that, look, I want to be touched. I want to be interacting with you on a physical level. That's how I feel love from you. I value physical intimacy in
Attention.
this particular way. And she's saying to you, listen, I value help and partnership.
Yeah.
And
The
when I
support.
tell you, and support, when I tell you this is what I need in order for you to get, it's not like a requirement, but it's a symbiotic relationship. If we
Yes.
dance together, things dance even better in the bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
you are able to tell your partner then, okay, he will say, well, all right, when I help and when I'm more partnering in my relationship, I find that things go better. And I don't understand sometimes how people don't get it, because men often will say, I don't understand what she mean I don't help with this and that. Because
Mhm.
you feel most loved when you're cooked for and cleaned for, and y'all hear the list of 1920 requirements. But at the
Yes.
same time, you need to recognize that those are acts of love, right? And if she's telling you, well, I love you, but I wouldn't mind if you help me with some of these acts of love,
Mhm.
get on that. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's
Exactly.
nothing
It makes
wrong
it
with
better
your
in
love
the end.
languages. And sometimes, to be honest, it's all about adulting. I don't think that there's a male or a female job role. I think that if you're really and truly looking for intimacy in your relationship, and I say partnership because you could be with somebody, but your partnership could be made in different ways. You could be monogamous, you could be in a polyamorous relationship, open marriage, whatever it is you're in. Your partnership is built on how
Mhm.
you've already communicated your love styles and how your pattern of intimacy. And if you're not able to communicate that, then you're often finding yourself less than satisfied. I remember when it was years ago, when it was Eric Durant, can you remember him? Remember
Yeah.
those
How can I forget?
do
How
you
can I
remember
forget?
you remember everybody was had up I think it was MSM statuses about frustrated and sexually frustrated and this, and I would be like, what do you mean? I don't understand. I mean, you can't get sex. And then listening more as an adult and recognizing that it's more than just a sexual release. It's more
Mhm.
the connection that people were missing and not
Yeah.
having the kind of and not being able to verbalize and open in the mouth so that the valve will open. And I'm a big proponent of that. When you open at this, that's open. Each and everything. Blossom. I quite like when she blossoms. I mean, you don't open your mouth, your vagina sees up. Well, your vulva
Nothing
sees up. She's
happens
like,
if you don't talk. You gotta talk.
well,
That's
you
the
speak up.
problem a lot of people have. And I find some people, they expect to be heard by, like, if the person can read the mind. And I think that's one of the worst things you can ever do. Open your mouth. Don't keep it in here and do like this. It ain't
Be a
gonna work.
signal. It's be like I speak honestly, I think it's a setup between I don't know who's a conspiracy theorist, but somebody needs to talk to me about it. Because poor men and poor women out there with smoke signals,
Yes.
fanning flames, trying to figure out what signal mean what. Like open your
You
mouth,
gotta
and there's nothing wrong with it.
literally open your mouth.
I've seen the last couple of days. I've seen these memes with persons talking about, oh, men can talk real good during video games, but they can never answer your questions. And I think that also have to do with how we're told we need to tell men what we want. You need to be gentle. You need not to hurt the feelings. Oh, they could get their feelings hurt. They
Okay?
can. They
Okay?
can. Of course, you want to be
You're not
respectful.
supposed to.
But when you're in a
Sometimes,
video game, you tell the person boss
to
look
get
left,
it
look
out.
right.
Right. Sometimes to get it out, somebody gotta be hurt.
Listen.
Somebody gotta be hurt sometimes.
And I'm sure that your partner would more than love it if you said, all right, look, the right bubby, right? She's more sensitive. So what you're gonna do is you're
That
gonna play with the left one. I like the left one. I like the left one play with. And my bossy, I like it jiggle just right. And just let her know. Mariposa's space. They call me, she come back.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. You know how
Right.
you know how we get when we talk. You know, and
But it's talking and
my
it's
thing
opening the
always is
communication.
coming down to communication. And my
It,
thing is, you don't have to babe, we need to talk. Oh geez, on break. Talk during sex.
oh gosh, talk during foreplay, stat stay, text it out, send a meme, use Jiffy. Oh god, I love Jiffy.
Yes,
Use Jiffy.
somebody's favorite thing is how we're socialized. Because one
It
thing
is
that
absolutely true.
the proper how is it for you? It's good. Oh geez, don't break. Open your plastic mouth. Simple. You
Let's
don't like it? Don't fake it. Don't fake it.
listen.
You fake it, you're wasting time. Jesus.
Worse yet, they don't know
Don't get me started.
nobody knows what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. And I often get
Exactly.
this with persons whose first initial sexual initiation is traumatic at best, right?
Mhm.
So when you talk about how you're socialized, it's also what the kind of media and content you're
Yeah.
taking in. So we talk about the Eric Jerome Dickey and he loved sweatbooks and how he just magically knew how where to touch, you
Perfection.
know,
Perfection.
gentle
Perfection.
sweeping touches, and then he'd strip off her clothes and it's been like boss. Like have a conversation. You need to ask the woman, like, you like getting your clothes stripped off? Like, I'll be mad. You know how much I spend for this? Don't rip up my clothes. Don't do that.
Up on the wall. Up
You
on the
understand?
wall.
How we like this? When you're able to verbalize those things with your partner, it's more important. And then person says, oh, but me and he ain't nothing. Oh shite. Even worse. Because I personally believe that if you are in a relationship, and a relationship are using the little thingies,
Mhm.
because if you are in a situationship, a hookup, and it's just purely for pleasure, then the first
Do
thing you should do
anything.
is sit down and say, okay, look, this is what I like.
Mhm.
And I like my foot caught this way. I like this particular position. And yeah, that's how we can get down. If you're not negotiating these terms, then you looking for a relationship and not just some sex. Because you don't want me to use my mouth, you want me to gradually find, oh, no. From the get go, let me talk. Let me talk. And if you can't tell
Straight
me,
up. Straight up.
there are so many men that I know that would say to me, oh, the haze was bad. Okay, and when you tell your partner that it wasn't any good, what did they say? I tell you nothing. I said, so you left, you don't know all that time? Yeah, I didn't want you to feel bad. I said, but that wasn't helping nothing. You know what
Find
I'm
a way
saying?
to get it. Find a way to get her up.
Yeah,
Find a way to
you
get her up.
simple direction, but of course everybody's there saying, oh, you should just know what to do. You should just automatically wake up and just know.
No,
No,
no.
even porn stars is read
Everybody's
books
not the
and watch
same, and
direction.
that's the problem. Everybody's not the same.
They're not, and you have to use your mouth in order to get the pleasure you want. You have to. You absolutely have to use
Independent.
your mouth, use your hands, use your communication. Whew, show a picture, draw a diagram, whatever it is you need to do.
You know what? You know something I realize some people are afraid to do? You'll be in one position, you don't like it, and instead of you twisting it around and finding another angle, they tolerate it. And sometimes when I talk to people, it is like but like you said earlier, they don't want to hurt the person's feelings. But my thing is, if you can go in that position and show them the benefit of that position, hello. Somebody saying every woman can't give good head. It's a fact every woman can't give good head. But any
And
man
neither
that
can men.
knows his worth will tell her exactly what he likes and how it feels for him. Oh
It's true.
heaven. You can't be going on somebody and down there for a whole week and it's like, right to grocery list while they're down there. Waste of time.
No, listen, I think people, we put ego and sex so much together that people say, oh, if I say anything, it hurt the ego. No, it's about growing and learning together. So even
Yeah.
if you're in a position and they don't tolerate pain in sex, because I learned very early on that sex and pain don't go together unless it's BDSM.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that knows BDSM knows that you have a lot of safe words and there's a whole
Yes.
different dynamic, right? So when you are in a position where you are in pain, is automatic that hurting. You understand? Is an automatic that hurting me. So once you could say, okay, this thing is hurting me, and your partner could respectfully change positions, then we good to
Mm-hmm.
go. But tolerance in sex is not a thing. You isn't no, I no. It's a no for me. Somebody who had to put something to tell me what you could possibly be tolerating. There's no tolerance. Like if you're not about it, you're not about it. You can politely decline, thank you, but no thank you. I'm giving you words today. You understand? So you
Yeah.
shouldn't really have you don't know what to do with it.
I leave that one for you to answer to. I love that one.
You
I
shouldn't
love
really
that
have a
one.
thing in your hand if you don't know what to do with it. Well,
You don't know what to do with it.
all right, so that's a little tricky because not all men are knowledgeable about what to do with it, right? And not
Hmm.
all women are knowledgeable about what to do. And then too, I always tell people you have to think about what the person may have been told about oral
Yeah.
sex. And especially in the Caribbean, it's still very taboo. There's very hardly still men that say, oh, it's good up on a woman. It's been, no, I don't do
They
that.
hide it.
I would
They
never let a
hide it.
woman sit on my face. And he is a sit down funny face man. Everybody know it.
Exactly.
But everybody
Exactly.
fine. So if that person has had, and it's especially with girls, it's like the repeated messaging in their head is always don't do that, as nasty, you know,
Mhm.
God from so you have
Yeah.
somebody who's
Also,
confronted with a beautiful piece of art, which is the penis, and all she can hear is a dirty, don't do that, all these voices in your head. So you're already, that's why when they say just a gentle shift, say, I realize you might not be comfortable with this just yet. Simple story. I realize that you might not be comfortable with this just yet. I want you to be as comfortable as possible when we get this to. So what we're going to do is you start and they appreciate the effort. It's not that it was bad or it was a thing. It was,
mhm.
let me move on. And then we said, no, I could try a little harder. I said, look, but ain't nothing on you, sweet girl. Like, I could. I really want to focus on you pleasure. You flip it, and then when you want to come back, especially if you want to be talking about ego, you can come back and say, you know, I prefer a firmer grasp. I
Yeah.
like it's like
Yeah.
real hard I thought all the way
Yeah.
down deep throat. Now you can say what is you like, right? And how you like it. And then she could say, well, that's because back in my day, my grandma used to say that girls ain't supposed to do this. And then you can work with that. You can see where she has space at. But if you was a man that
Exactly.
like, well, she gonna take it and she know whether or not she grandmother said nothing about it, well then
Then there's an
I was
issue.
actually laughing.
Because I find that you said head space. If that is in your head and it stays there, it can affect your pleasure and the other person's pleasure. And somebody there is saying, first off, he must be clean and smell good. Well, I
Amen to
think
that.
that goes without saying. Hygiene must be to the top of the
Oh,
list.
but not what I was
To
saying
the
where
top of
I
the list.
know many people that will come home and think that them is the best thing. Pee all day, all about. Ain't wait nothing. I think and that should be delivered like a golden seal. Have this.
Shower together. Let me start there. Shower
Mm,
together.
yes. I need to shower with myself, but that's my alone time. But I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. But it's
You
not
want it
washed
that
down.
bad? You want it that bad? Shower and we can start in the
Listen,
shower. Simple.
I ain't care if you need to go and get a wash. Go and get a little soap water. They said that you need to get that started out. We ain't playing with that.
Something.
We are not.
Some,
And then there has to be no worse interruption than that. Like, okay, your body odor tonight is not where it should be. You want to go and get a quick bath and come back.
mm-hmm.
And if your partner don't jump, oh shoot, baby, sorry about that. I'm going to get a quick cold boy, make sure you all the right parts washed down good, and then come back. Then Let me reconsider these couple goals we got going on here. You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's
something
time
we
to,
have to work on. I'm gonna enjoy that. That's something we have to work on.
I think how we
Question.
respond to people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's like you don't have to be old, but you ain't smell good tonight. Like you said, say it nicely. Say it nicely. Yeah, this is one thing you don't want to hurt feeling because that
Body odor.
that to me can really affect a lot mentally. So you say it nicely and you do your thing after. Nothing wrong with it. Right?
And
Nothing wrong.
very person, the truth is that we've got special nudesy too. So like, you don't want nobody to say it to you.
You are
Had a
you
long
at work
day.
all day long.
You understand? You home when about with the children, you forget to go in bed, line off in the bed. You would hear smelling like
Come
stink
home
mug.
come home and cook. You get tired, you brought sleep. No, get up, baby girl.
Yeah,
Get
and
up.
you're right. Just like Mariposa said, let me get a little quick shower together and let me go down the road. I might even get any shower.
Intimacy. Exactly. All the good
Everything
behavior in the right places.
is That's true. So what was the other question, Mariposa?
There was more I can't remember. I just happened. Right. Anyhow, toys. We're gonna touch on the toys. Do you see toys as okay? We said earlier the toys are not an end all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you have couples coming together? You're welcome, darling. Stay with us. Do you find you have couples coming together to choose toys, to buy toys, and getting
Yes.
advice?
Yes. So why would find is thank God for IG is that somebody would send somebody a picture of my IG, like one of the
Mhm.
profiles on my IG,
Yeah.
and they would a picture of whatever product I have in there, and they'd be like, and then somebody, either the man, usually it's the man, would message and say, "My girl like this. How much is this?" Right? Or they would say, "Can I have this? My girl already like this. I want to try it out. You think it would be good for me? Blah blah blah. We never do this." And they would go down the road the conversation. And of course, it will move from there, and we would decide what is best for them based on what their goals are. Because if you have never used a sex toy before and included it into your relationship or your sex
Mhm.
play, then it makes a difference about the type you're gonna get,
Okay.
right? Because I
So
don't
then
usually
you
like to
don't.
give somebody something that might be too intrusive, and then they put it once
Okay.
and they never use it again.
Hmm. But that's what I was going to ask you about. If about getting something that's too elaborate that they are not going to be fully comfortable with. If you prefer, you build gradually something simple. Okay. You scaffold.
If they're experienced, if they're a couple that already has toys and they're custom and stuff like that, then hell yeah, ready to play. Whatever you guys are looking to get, then let me go down the road. But if this is the first time that you guys have ever broached the subject, then I go down a different road because I want to make sure that you both of you are comfortable and you're now just exploring with each other. So how are you looking to explore? What kind of vibrations feel good? How does your partner usually have an orgasm? Is it during where any sex play? Is it during oral intercourse? Is it during penetrative intercourse? Do we like anal sex? What
Mhm.
kind of sex play are you guys engaged in? And I don't usually go into all of this immediately, but it usually does come up because you're going to
Okay,
tell
that's
me what it's looking for. So, for example, somebody might message and say, "Oh, I really like the bullets. I want my boyfriend to use it on me." But when the boyfriend messages, he say, "Oh, I like the cock rings." I said, "Okay." So here, here what? And he was, "Oh, my girlfriend message," and I said, "Okay, what's your girlfriend handle?" I would be able to say, she said, "Oh, this is," or he would say, the person would say, which one it is that the girlfriend liked, and then they would be able to say, all right, you like this, she likes this. Let me find a common medium. Like for example, they have cock rings that have like the little like these little
Vibration.
bullets
Right.
inside of them. So then that way he could take out this and use the bullet on her by itself. And then when they're getting into actual sex play, and actual not actual sex play, but penetrative sex, then he could just put this inside the vibrator and it'll be ready to go.
Right. And then it'll
So
be for both, for pleasure for both and not just one. And
yeah.
so Toya,
But even if it's pleasure for one person, it's still pleasure for both
it's
because when
a
you see your
pleasure.
partner
Yeah.
react, things feel good.
You know, it's a fact. Toya, tell us, how can anybody get through to you for toys, counseling, therapy?
Just DM. I set up the scheduling app on the IG, so you can actually click all the way through to the IG and schedule a time with me. But slide in my DMs if they are wide open. It's not a problem. I am here. You can most definitely slide in. I have this week joining some sexual educators and doing I think it's vulnova, basically vulva in
Something that's
November.
it. Because I saw it just now.
Yeah, vulva in November. So we're concentrating on the vulva. So you'll see my trusty vulva out and
Yeah.
rocking. So I like to pull her out, let you guys have a look and see, so that we will be having her prominently displayed. I will be discussing things like, discrete vibrators, where to put them, where not to put them,
Right.
um, the big vibrators as well, whatever it is that you may enjoy. Um, in a note. And then in December, I think we're doing Dictember.
Wow.
So we'll be doing some lots and lots of things on penises. I can't wait to do that. It's gonna be good because they're new sex toys for men, which will be fun. I've had a really good sex toy for men, but I don't have it anymore. But yeah, but you can slide in my DMs. Most definitely, I've got things, tricks, strategies, you name it. And I do no, I do, because people might think I organize in a threesome, but no. But I counsel both individuals and couples, and I do events.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Toya. It was awesome having you as always.
Thank
Guys,
you.
follow her Pillow Talk Caribbean here on IG. I'm gonna post her handle in the IGTV video. I'm sorry to the guys who just signed in, but you know what? You can catch this on IGTV. You'll learn something and you can go and you can contact LaToya with any of your questions. She is quite bold. She is quite open-minded, so I don't think
That
anything
I am.
should shock her right now. I really don't. It has been a pleasure having you as always. This, as usual, will not be our last.
Most definitely
Our
not.
last
And I
one.
can't wait to see the others that you have.
Exactly.
I
And
can't wait.
like I said, there's mischief coming up shortly with Toya and I. So I think with Pillow Talk
Oh,
Caribbean and
yeah, we have
Mariposa
Christmas
and
things
we'll be
coming up. I mean, we
together.
got Vulva November, Dictember, and
Exactly.
then
And December.
we gotta come back for
The only
Dictember for
way
sure. We'll do something together.
the only way to go is up. So thank you very much, Toya. Did
Yes.
I say that well? Oh well, yeah. Shh. Yes. Right. So thank you very much, LaToya. It has been a pleasure having you.
Yes. All right. No problem. Have a good night, everybody.
And Sally.
Bye
So
bye.
guys, you can contact Pillow Talk Caribbean for your relationship counseling, sex therapy counseling, sex toy counseling, anything under the sun relating to sex. And if she doesn't know it, she will research it for you. It's always a pleasure to have her on the show. Thank you very much for joining me, all of you. Have a wonderful night. Remember, we're grown, we're sexy. Stay safe. We're always sassy, quite badassy. But whatever we do, we keep it nice.